Hi, how are you? Hope everything is going well. I've really wanted to film this video with this candle on in the background, but I feel like it's just a little bit too noisy. What do you think? Yeah, a bit too noisy. Has the most amazing smell though. Today we are going to be doing a highly anticipated breakdown of the Jeffree Star apology for his racism, which he posted on his channel yesterday. I think it was an hour before my video, but I filmed my video I think 3 or 4 days earlier and I had loads of editing problems, which is why it was so late. First of all, let me talk briefly about yesterday's video because everything kicked off. In yesterday's video, I wanted to give you an example of someone in history that everyone was aware of that consistently showed bad character traits. To do that, I picked Hitler. Is it a bit of an extra example? Absolutely. When I talk to you on my channel, I don't talk to you like I'm stood on a platform talking down to people. I always just talk to you like you're one of my friends. And how I talk to my friends is sometimes over the top. Like maybe there was someone else in history that has had a consistent bad character, but really you only tend to remember the crazy ones. And I use that as an example when I was talking about how I view Jeffree's previous apologies and stuff like that. I'm always the type of person that wants to defend the underdog, that wants to defend the person that's being attacked, because I know what it's like to not have people defend you, and I'm really, really defensive like that. So when I see someone, whether it be a customer that's found a hair in a highlighter that's now getting attacked, or whether it be Jackie Aina, or whether it be Makeup by Shayla, whether it's anyone that I see as a victim and someone that I see as being attacked, I'll always be there to try and defend them, even if they're not someone that I'm friendly with. That's sort of my stance whenever we cover Jeffree stories. It's more just the fact that, from my perspective, having looked at the situation, he tends to have done things quite bad. That is everything for that. I'm genuinely so sorry if you had your feelings hurt. It was not my intention. I was not comparing Jeffree Star's Twitter rants to the Holocaust. That's not what I did whatsoever in that video. We are just going to do a step-by-step breakdown. Last time we did this with the Tana Mongioawi apology, you really loved it. Like, you were crazy for it. So I thought we have another apology. Why don't we have a peek through it? This isn't going to be any shade to Jeffree, anything nasty to Jeffree. Jeffree throws shade at me, I throw shade at Jeffree. It's a two-way street. It's been like this for 8 months, ever since he first came for me. And it's just one of those things. So it's something that I'm very open about. It's something I'm very consistent about on my channel.
What's up, everybody? Today I wanted to sit here and turn on the camera and talk to you guys about some really serious subjects.
I just want to say from the get-go, this isn't me throwing shade, but he said he's turning on the camera for the first time. Like, he has a whole production team, like a whole camera team editing his videos, producing his videos. So like, I guess it's just a figure of speech, but because most people on YouTube just turn on their cameras to film. But with Jeffree, obviously it's not like he's in a professional studio with an editor and a producer and a cameraman. So I just felt like that was important, because it's not like just, I'm just gonna turn on the camera.
And talk to you guys about some really serious subjects, some issues that I have been dealing with for a long time, and just have a one-on-one with you guys. This video is something that I feel like I owe to my entire audience. Through the last 10 years, I have lived my life on social media, which is really crazy to think about. It's been a really long journey from being a little musician on a little website to my career now. And as I sit here, I realize that I have a bigger platform sometimes than I realize myself. And there are millions of people out there that watch me, that know about my life, that follow my story. And I feel like it's time that I get out a little bit more of my story. And this video is mainly about something that is a really fucked up subject that I've had to deal with for a long time. And it concerns old videos that were filmed of me 12 years ago. Now, I want to go on the record and say that I know there's a lot of people out there that love and support me. There are millions of you that watch my videos, that are out there and that support me. But there's also other people out there that do not like me. And that's okay. If you do not like what I'm about, if you hate me, if you despise me, if you're not into what I'm about, you do not need to watch this. But I would really appreciate if you could listen to my story and what I have to say with an open mind. And I think from human being to human being, fuck YouTube, fuck all the bullshit, fuck the makeup, everything that we are so consumed with, past all the fun tutorials, past everything. I want to speak to you as a human being that breathes on this earth with you. And lately, not lately, for the last few years.
This is getting deep. It's getting deep already, you can tell. Like, it seems like he's being very sincere and it seems very emotional. I think sometimes he comes across very like Like, I'm so rich and boozy, I'm so rich and boozy, like when he was burning through the $5,000 Chanel bag. But this seems a bit more like he's trying to convey a message. And I think he's being very forward. He's doing like all the hand actions that you do when you try and bring people into your video. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's something that when you do like YouTube, like if you do classes, I know YouTube has like a class online that you can do, and they tell you things like this where you can talk to the camera and try and pull people in. So it seems like the zoomed camera angles and the pulling is like, it's like a smart way to try and bring people into the video.
As I have joined the YouTube community, I have been definitely subjected to a lot of drama, and I get it. You know, I am a hot topic. I have always been outspoken. I am, you know, someone that looks different, and I realize that with all of that is going to come the negative. Obviously the positive is so unreal, but the negative can be very, very dark and ugly. And every time that I get into an online, you know, conflict or confrontation or some crazy feud, whether it's with my ex-best friend or a celebrity or other YouTubers, a lot of stuff from my past constantly gets dragged up. It's been happening for years. In these videos, I say some really disgusting, vile, nasty, and embarrassing things. And you know what's fucked up? The past can never be erased.
Just to clarify, I'm sure that you've probably seen most of them, but these are the things.
I win by having diamond rims, and you win by being more Mexican.
Easy to break, I gotta.
Yo, you can see your pussy.
Shut up, you fucking nigger bitch!
Hey, you don't have to harass me.
God, you stupid ape, I'm gonna spray you. Bitch. Will you beat that nigger, please?
She's a fucking nigger. You're a nigger, you fucking ugly ass bitch. Fuck you, hoe.
You have a camel toe in the wind.
Thank you.
That's hot. Oh, hand out. It's okay, you a fat, ugly bitch, you stupid cunt. Bitch, I'll Bitch, I'll kill you like Anna Nicole, you fucking stink, bitch.
And there's also another clip, which I don't think Jeffree's going to talk about in this, but at one of his concerts where he's like performing, I think there's like a young girl in the audience, and he's like flashing his like crotch area around, and it's like on display, and I think she like slaps it or something like that, and he grabs her by the hair and physically drags her, and I think he tries to pull her hair out like that. It looks bad. Like, she looks like, what is going on? Obviously she shouldn't have groped him, but like a 16-year-old, to me it's like if you're at a concert and you're a 16-year-old girl and you're like dazed and there's some like man that's like stood in front of you with like a thing in your face, I think it's grim. But like, I'm not saying what she did was right, obviously not as disgusting, but I don't think as a performer on stage you should lose your cool and like rip someone's hair out like that. But I can't show you the clip because Jeffree's had it removed from YouTube, just like the racist clips. Whenever they're uploaded, we've talked about this before, he always has them copyright striked.
It is always going to be there, and my past has been recorded, it's been videoed, it has been exploited all over the internet, and I'm sitting here and those videos were 12 years ago, and I look at them and I see them resurface, and it just makes me sick to my stomach because I don't know who that person was. I know who I am today. I know exactly the person I am today, but I do not know who that person was. The person that said those horrible, vile things, that person was depressed. That person was just angry at the world. That person felt like they were not accepted. That person was seeking attention. I was someone that loved to seek attention when I was younger. I loved the shock value. I loved fighting anger with anger, and I didn't know any better.
He grew his success from doing things like that, like from running down the street, telling girls he had a camel toe, calling people, you know, the N-word and stuff like that. Like, that controversy was what gave him his platform. That's how he grew his audience. So when he says it was exploited, I mean, I think he means it was exploited by him.
Make it okay? Absolutely not. I want to look everyone in the eyes and let you know that everything that you have seen is so just wrong. It's upsetting, it's nasty. It really makes me sick to my stomach to watch those old videos because what I was saying is not what I represent. I think that racism is a very serious subject, especially in today's world. I'm embarrassed as a person because that is not what I've ever stood for. I am all about self-expression, self-worth, self-love.
And I agree, and with open arms, I would happily say the past is the past. But the issue that I think a lot of people have is that the same aggressive behaviour continues to be expressed. You know, with the whole thing with Jackie Aina, he was coming for us saying she didn't pay taxes. The whole thing with Makeup by Shayla like a year ago. Jackie Aina was a week ago. Makeup by Shayla, you know, talking about her not being able to afford like handbags and stuff like that. You can research it. There's so many videos online. I've posted loads. It's weird to hear him say this because I would openly accept apology from anyone. I honestly prefer to get along with people. Half the time people fall out with me, I genuinely forget, and I walk up to them at events and stuff like that, and I'll just talk to them, and they're like, and I'm like, I just don't remember. Like, I don't have the time. I'm too self-absorbed.
The person that said those horrible, vile things, that person was depressed. That person was just angry at the world. That person felt like they were not accepted. That person was seeking attention. I was someone that loved to seek attention when I was younger. I loved the shock value, loved fighting anger with anger, and I didn't know any better.
I don't know if he's trying to use this as an excuse, but there's a lot of people that feel lonely and depressed and like they don't fit in, but most of them don't turn
He's a fucking nigger.
racism. I just feel like I have to say that. Like, I feel like it's common sense and you probably already know that. But most people that are lonely and depressed and sad and don't feel like they fit in don't run down the street like harassing people, calling people the N-word, calling people chimps, or physically ripping someone's hair out. Like, I was always lonely when I was younger and I never felt like I fit in, but I never did any of those things. So that's just like my perspective.
And does that make it okay? And does that make it okay? Absolutely not. I want to look everyone in the eyes and let you know that everything that you have seen is so just wrong. It's upsetting, it's nasty. It really makes me sick to my stomach to watch those old videos because what I was saying is not what I represent. I think that racism is a very serious subject, especially in today's world. I'm embarrassed as a person because that is not what I've ever stood for. I am all about self-expression, self-worth, self-love, and I think it's awful that you guys have to see me in that light because I don't ever want that to take away the message that I have always been about. So I want to sit here, and I have talked about this before on MySpace back in the day. I have addressed this on Snapchat. I have talked about this on Twitter in the past, but that is not good enough because for everyone out there that supports me, that believes in me, I owe you the truth and I owe you an apology.
The camera angle is like, it's very like boom, 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 boom. Like, it's very, very well produced. I just noticed that. Like, Tana's apology was so busted. She was just there like clip, 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 every single clip. Do you remember? It was like, bup, 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 like every word was clipped. Whereas Jeffree's is like boom, 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 like every single angle.
So sorry for my words. I am so sorry for everything that I've said in my past. I can never turn back time and take those moments away. They happened, I have owned up with them, and I have lived with it for a long time. And every time that they get re-dragged up, it just makes me just sad because I don't know who that person was.
He hasn't said anything point blank racist in like a long time. Maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's less than that. But I think, again, the issue that a lot of people have seen, especially on Twitter, is like he's still attacking people of colour and he's still, you know, digging into stereotypes, calling people, you know, accusing them of being poor or not paying their taxes and stuff like that. So he's still doing the same attacks, but he's just not doing it in a racist context. Does that make sense? And so people say, well, it's not about colour, but then why is everyone that he's attacking of colour? That's kind of the thing that I guess I've seen the most circulating
in front of me, and I want to go on record and let you know that that is not okay. Just because someone insults you, it is not okay to fight back, but sometimes that's how we handle things. We're human beings. And I think that at the end of the day, people forget, past the money, the cars, the clothes, I am just one tiny little person on this earth trying to make a better life for me and my family, and I am nowhere near perfect.
It seems so sincere how he's talking about being like one little person on this earth. But if you look at any amount of anything that he ever says online, it's the complete opposite when he's in fights with people. It's always like, I'm 1,000 times better than these people, I'll stamp on these people are so irrelevant. Like, humble isn't really a word that comes to mind when we ever see him online, but that's just what crosses my mind.
I am literally the furthest thing from perfect. I make mistakes every day, but I've learned from them. And the intent behind my words back then, it was not about race. Racism does not live inside of me. I don't even know what the fuck, like, I don't know how that exists into people. I said really horrible, vicious things back to people to hurt them, to harm them, to shock them, and to let them know that you're gonna call me something, I'm gonna cut you back so hard and make you feel like a piece of shit because you made me feel low. And that is not okay. It is not okay to fight words with words like that. And I have been subject to a lot of stuff recently. The last 2 years has been so difficult. It's also been such a blessing. I've never had this much success in my career. And all of you out there that have supported me, like, I will never be able to thank you enough for the gift you have given me.
Again, like, I really appreciate what he's saying, and I think anyone watching it can really appreciate what he's saying, but all I can see is the actual evidence of every time something has happened like this, and that's just not the case. Like, it just doesn't add up. Just bits and pieces. Like, he's saying, like, he's so grateful to anyone that supported him, but people that buy his makeup, if someone comments on his Instagram saying they got a broken skin for us, they get blocked. How is that supporting the people that support you? Do you know what I mean? Like, I really appreciate all the words that he's saying in this video, and it sounds so sincere, but I don't see an ounce of evidence to back any of it up. Like, it's like a running joke. Like, if you on Instagram and you see stuff like that, it's like people get blocked. Like, if you tweet Jeffree and say my skin frost arrived broken, you'll probably get blocked. If you comment on his Instagram saying skin frost arrived broken, you'll probably get blocked. Do you know what I mean? Like, any sort of problem, you will usually get blocked. People reach out to me every single day with messages saying, oh, Jeffree blocked me for this, Jeffree blocked me for that. And I'm like, it's like a normal thing. You just expect it. Like, from my perspective, it's pretty obvious. And from people that have the experience that, like, he doesn't really care. You just block anyone. Even if they're a customer, just get rid of them. And that's why it's weird hearing him say, like, I'm so grateful for the success that you've given me because now, obviously, I have, like, a Lamborghini and a massive mansion. But it doesn't ever seem like that in reality outside of this video. Outside of this one video, I personally haven't seen anything that's ever backed up what he's saying. So it's just weird because it sounds so sincere. Either he has like some sort of dual emotions thing happening where 1 minute he's really sincere, but then when he's actually living his life, he's not so friendly. Or maybe this is just really good acting. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the situation because the video that I'm watching is coming across so sincere and I do feel sorry for him when I'm watching it. But then I'm just thinking about every single scandal that's happened where he's done something really messed up to one of his own customers that's given him a success. So it's just weird.
But I also think that it's really important to share things and let you know that I'm not perfect. I'm wrong all the time. You know, and even recently when people were saying some fucked up shit to me or trying to, you know, get a reaction, I do give in. I am weak. I am weak. I'm selfish. I have anger problems sometimes. I lash out when people lash out at me. Still to this day, when someone wants to try me or start something, I'm the first one that's like, what, bitch? You want to try me? Let's go. I've called people stupid. I've called people rats. I've called people annoying. I've called people every name in the book when they attack me back because it's hard.
And this is kind of the next thing. This is something that crosses my mind because Jeffree's saying here that he always reacts when he always retaliates. So he's always saying that they start it first. I think that's the core thing of what he's coming from. He's saying like, yes, I do react, not I do initiate, which are obviously two very different things. So I guess, I mean, we have to take this how you want to see it. The thing that comes to my mind is with Jackie Aina, when she posted her tweets, she just said, oh, Jeffree blocked me. And just something along the lines of that, and then like another tweet. And then Jeffree kicked off and was like, I'm, you know, exposing her wedding and exposing this and exposing that. And I think he probably felt personally attacked, but Jackie wasn't personally attacking her. I want to give you a background into my first experience with Jeffree. My first experience with Jeffree, I posted I think it was like Jeffree named a liquid lipstick after me, and I don't think I'd made a crazy number of videos about anything that he'd done before that. Definitely a few, but not a crazy amount. I think I'd only done one that had a mean message in, and that was at the very, very beginning when I first made a drama video. And I think I apologised for that literally the next day, but the apology that I made got copyright striked, and that's where I got onto. The video that I made, which I will link, you know, I'll play a very brief clip of that video, okay? And you can judge if you think it's nasty or malicious. But this was my first experience of Jeffree. That video got copyright striked. And on YouTube, copyright strikes are really, really serious. Like super, super serious. If you imagine it's a driving license, it's like getting points on your license. And if you get a certain number of points, you lose your license. You cannot drive. It's the same with YouTube. If someone strikes you, it's very, very serious. And it's also very, very hard to copyright strike someone. Usually you can have a video removed or demonetized, but to strike someone is very, very difficult. Like, it's just not a normal process to happen. And so I was completely shocked. Like, my channel was very fresh. It was very new. I mean, I guess it still is. It's only like 6 or 7 months. I was very shocked. Like, I'd never experienced that before. Like, I couldn't imagine someone trying to shut my channel down. And the scary thing for me was, I think he copyright strike 2 of my videos. And it was like the end of the world to me. Like, it was the end of the world. Like, I just found this family on YouTube and we just come together. And then I was getting striked and I had 2 videos copyright striked. And then I think it happened again and I ended up with 2 strikes. And then it happened again and he just kept doing it over and over again. And that's when things started to go sour between me and Jeffree. I never instigated anything with him. I never came for him. I think I was mean once at the very, very beginning for like 3 seconds and then I apologised. And it wasn't anything crazy, crazy nasty. It was just a bit of shade. It wasn't anything crazy nasty. It was like 3 seconds of shade. But it's just not my personality. Even if it's something that everyone else would do, it's just not what I would do. And that was like months and months and months and months and months earlier. But basically, that's when he started copyright striking my videos. And I think he used to always post indirect tweets about me and he'd blocked me on all social media. But then he was trying to shut my channel down. And I think it got to December and it got to a point where it was really serious. Like, he was in Hawaii and he spent the entire day blocking people tweeting him about me because he'd striked me again. And I think I posted a video and I had to say to you, like, go and follow my second channel, More Kuckian, because Jeffree's trying to shut the channel down. Because I think he'd striked 4 of my videos. And on YouTube, where it says how many strikes you're allowed to have before it's full, I'm pretty sure like it filled and then I got an extension. Like, I got an extra strike allowance. Like, it was crazy. It was so, so weird. But I literally logged in and it was like strike, 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 strike. And I don't think I've ever instigated a strike with Jeffree. Every story that I've ever covered has been with evidence. It's been something that we've looked at. I've never twisted evidence or done anything really malicious and nasty. Sometimes I've made mistakes with evidence and I've clarified that. But that's my background, so you understand how things have happened. And so obviously things have gone sour as have gone on because the same person has come for me when I've not really come for them. Like, this is the John Kuckian, this is Kuckian's courtroom. Like, we always look at stories to do with everyone. I don't see why Jeffree should be an exception and get a free pass when he does something really nasty to someone. But that's basically my background with Jeffree. That's how things are where they are now. I have tried to resolve things with him, as I have with Manny. Jacqueline, I used to talk to all the time. Jacqueline, I spoke to her and I told her, literally, you can put me in contact with Jeffree. I'll have a conversation with him. I have no beef with him. I have no problem with him. And I hate the fact that we're fighting. And I hate the fact that I'm getting copyright striked over nothing, because this is going to do nothing but cause problems, because I'm not a submissive person. And I feel like there's 2 types of people. There's people where if you put like a lot of pressure on them and you attack them and you come at them from all angles, like Jeffree has with me, with like the copyright strikes and all the other background stuff that he's been doing, like, people either, one type of person caves in. Turn my microphone. I feel like one type of person caves in and flips over and either goes really quiet or like tries to join his side. And then there's like me, and I feel like I don't know many people that are like me, but maybe it's just my experience through life. But if someone ever puts like an ounce of pressure against me, I'll put 2 ounces back. And so if someone comes at me like a train, I'll come at them times 2. And it's kind of like, the more someone tries to destroy me, the stronger I become and the more driven I become. And so definitely with Jeffree, I've gone a lot deeper into my investigations with him and his behaviour, because he's done so much to me. And I was kind of like, well, let's see what you've been up to then. And that's where I've found all this racism. That's why all this stuff is circulated. And it's not just 10 years ago or 12 years ago, like he says. It's all the other stuff in the gaps between that and the stuff before that, where he was attacking the 12-year-old girl when he was 22. I think it's all good to say, when people attack me, I retaliate. But I think when you are 22 and a 15-year-old leaves you a nasty comment, to leave them a comment saying like, your face is so effed up because it got smashed up by your mum's "see you blah blah" coming out and you must cry or something like that, I feel like there's a lie. That's how I feel. But that's just to give you a background of my situation. I'm a very calm person. I really don't tend to beef with people that often. I think I definitely am the type of person where I don't sit on things, and if there's a problem, I'll address it. I've always been like that with family and friends, and it serves me very well because I always know where I stand with people. All my close friends, if we ever have a problem, we just talk straight away. And if I have a problem with, you know, family or anything, it's the exact same thing. So I'm definitely not like a quiet, submissive person on the internet. Definitely not. But I'm not someone that goes after people and attacks people and tries to start drama like I've seen so often with this kind of thing.
Not to react sometimes. And I think that people forget, you know, maybe once in a while the average person will hear an insult, but when you are online, the bullying and the extreme hate that can come your way, it is really hard to deal with. It is hard to log on and every day there are people saying you're great, and then there's people telling you you're an AIDS-infested faggot and you look like a fucking horse and you should kill yourself. Those are things that I have to read every day and mentally process them as, okay, this is how someone feels about me, great. Can I, you know, lose sleep every night worrying about it? No, I can't, but I need to learn to just process it and get out my anger some other way and not even respond to people. And let's go back to 12 years ago. Because so many people have heard rumors or if they've seen a clip and they don't see the full spectrum, and I am so sorry that any of you ever had to see me like that. It makes me want to just, I don't know, it makes me want to erase myself sometimes. I look at that and I'm just like, I can't believe I used to be that miserable and that unhappy. So I want to let you guys know that I am so sorry for ever saying those things. That does not represent anything how I feel. That is not who I am. And I apologize deep down to the core of my fucking being. And that person does not exist anymore. I'm all about trying to bring awareness to self-expression and love, and I want all of you guys to learn from my mistakes. If you take one thing away from this video, please do not make the same mistakes that I did. And I also want to say that I know that there are millions of people out there, there are people watching this right now that are judged by what they believe in, by who they are, by how they look, by the color of their skin. And I am just one in a million that has to deal with these type of prejudices every single day. So I don't want you to see an old video.
This was a strange one because with Jeffree's past, he mentions people's skin colour that have to deal with prejudice. But then he's saying that he's one of them because of how he looks. So obviously I understand, but to me there's like a bit of a difference between like racism and repression and then like wearing makeup and getting abuse for it. But then that's just sort of my perspective.
Of me and be like, wow, Jeffree says this, but he's really about this. And it's embarrassing because I don't want it to tarnish what I stand for right now.
He's coming up with really good words and I think it's really good. But he's saying like tarnish everything that I stand for now. If you look at all of Jeffree's actions in the past month, what do we have? We've got him coming after Jackie, him exposing Jackie's wedding, him saying that Jackie doesn't pay taxes, him talking on Twitter to random people, him going around Twitter in conversations just spreading stuff about her. So I don't understand what that's supposed to represent and stand. That to me isn't self-expression and freedom. And that's today, that's now, that's right this second. So, I don't know, I think everyone makes mistakes and I think some people are messier than others. And I think the beauty of YouTube is that it can house a lot of different personalities. Jeffree's definitely, from what we see, more of an unstable character. We see explosions and all that kind of thing. And I don't think that justifies his behaviour whatsoever in any way. But I feel like he's almost conflicted in himself because he's saying like, I stand for this, I stand for that, but then that's not what he's doing. And I can understand like people go through difficult patches in life where your core message, no matter what you stand for, isn't what you're expressing. And I can understand that. I felt that way before, where I felt like I know what I want to say and do, but then I felt like the way that I'm doing it isn't coming across properly. And I think it's just one of the natures of YouTube. Like it happens to everyone. But perhaps I don't really know how much that ties in with Jeffree because he's saying that this is what he's all about. But then we just don't see it. We see burning $5,000 Chanel bags. We see flying on private jets. We see $5,000 face masks. We see attacking Jackie. We see attacking various other people. Do you see what I mean? I feel like deep down he knows that he has this message that he wants to put across inside this very sort of like scared person, but then there's so much of this evil on the outside that he's constantly spitting this acid on everyone around him, that anyone that says the smallest thing about him, blocked, nasty comments, attacked. You know, we've seen it for the past forever. I just feel like it doesn't line up.
And we have come a long way with human rights. We have. I mean, in the last 10 years, you guys, it is crazy how life used to be and how it is now. But there are still so much, there's just so much growth to happen. This world is still so dark and miserable, and there are so many crazy things happening that I don't know if everyone fully realizes what it is to be different.
This is quite powerful because this is how Jeffree's always marketed his cosmetics, and I feel like he's always put himself across as like the one that didn't fit in and the one that's different and the one that stands out. And you know, it's difficult for us because now he's not so different. Like now he has physically everything that you would want. You know, he has like millions and millions of dollars, multi-million-dollar successful business. And so it's strange for him to still kind of take this approach of like, because I'm different. Because it's like, yes, he gets abuse online, but he makes so much money from it. And it's a business. It's not like he comes online to speak to his friends. Like, I don't think anyone has ever seen it like that. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's very, very strange. Like, he showed on Snapchat a while ago, like, look at all the disgusting comments that I have to read. But he was reading through his filtered comments. So when you add a nasty word to the filter that can't be said, it gets put into a special folder, and he was Snapchatting that list. So it's like, obviously you're going to have nasty comments. If you have 10,000 comments and you go to your filtered folder, obviously you're going to have nasty comments. So I don't know. I just struggle a little bit. I feel like the message that he's putting across makes perfect sense. But the inside of me, outside of the emotional side, is questioning the authenticity of the core of it.
Life is too short, you guys. I cannot spend every day thinking about my past. I have moved forward. I know what I stand for now, and I want to be a better person. I want to be a better person from the person I was last week. I want to learn and grow, and I think that is what's most important for all of us. I don't want to deal with anger.
Again, I think it's really great what he's saying about wanting to grow, but for people, I think, to forgive him and to move on, he would have to show that instead of talk about it. Because if he'd had like a clean month where he hadn't done anything crazy, I think people would be like, oh, you know, Jeffree this, but literally 5 days ago, he was on Jackie like a bulldog. So it's like, how hard are you trying?
And rage and drama anymore. I just feel like it's just so unhealthy and it eats away at you. And whether it's a little online feud with a makeup brand, or it's with an ex-friend, or it's with this, I'm just tired of feeding into it. And I am a victim of that, you guys. I know I have perpetuated stuff. I have fueled fires, and it's just wrong. And I don't want to continue that behavior. I should be setting an example, and I have been completely doing the opposite over the last few years, and all of this is just, I think it's come to a point where this video is necessary, not just about me, but I want everyone to learn from me and my wrongs. When you're being attacked or someone is bullying you or hurting you, it's okay to defend yourself. It's okay to respond, but be careful of how.
So this is Jeffree again saying that like he was being bullied by these people. I think you have to judge the context yourself. If you're at a concert playing a show and someone like gropes your genitals as you flashed it in their face and you physically rip their hair out, they're not bullying you. They've done something really effed up, but you've made the choice to attack them. That's like sexual assault, but then proper like heavy assault. If someone posts on Twitter that you've blocked them and then you start coming for them and exposing their wedding and exposing them allegedly not paying taxes, you're coming for them. They're not bullying you. If someone posts a video that's satire talking about how you named a liquid lipstick after them and there's not anything nasty in that video, and you put an illegal copyright strike against their YouTube channel, they weren't bullying you. You were bullying them. If a person finds a hair in one of your products and you start fighting with them on Twitter and setting your hundreds of thousands of followers after them, they weren't bullying you. you were bullying them. I always just feel like context is important, and all the words that he's saying make perfect sense. But this whole thing of him being painted out to be a victim and him being the one that's being repressed and bullied every 5 seconds doesn't add up to what we actually see online when he comes for people. Makeup by Shayla. What did Makeup by Shayla do to Jeffree? She didn't do anything. She got her hair dragged, you know?
Way at you, and whether it's a little online feud with a makeup brand or it's with an ex-friend or it's with this, I'm just tired of feeding into it, and I am a victim of that, you guys. I know I have perpetuated stuff, I have fueled fires, and it's just wrong, and I don't want to continue that behavior. I should be setting an example, and I have been completely doing the opposite over the last few years, and all of this is just, I think it's come to a point where this video is necessary, not just about me, but I want everyone to learn from me and my wrongs. When you're being attacked or someone is bullying you or hurting you, it's okay to defend yourself. It's okay to respond, but be careful of how you respond, because how I handled things was not okay, and you never know how it is going to affect another person. And I know so many of you deal with this shit on the daily basis, but remember, what you say to the next stranger could affect them in ways that you do not know. You just gotta stay strong and realize...
Again, it's just strange for him to take this approach, like, be careful what you say to people, because it can really hurt their feelings. Literally, look at the comments of the past 2 months. Look at all the things that have happened where he's come for people like that. This just doesn't add up. I feel like it's wrong when people attack Jeffree, but when Jeffree attacks someone else, it's okay. That's how it like feels, because everything he's saying makes perfect sense. Of course, you should be so careful how you talk to people. You should be so careful, because you never know what they're going through and what their struggle is exactly. But then he isn't demonstrating that in the way he's talking to people, and he hasn't over the past month, 2 months, 6 months.
Is that hurting someone else back is never gonna satisfy you. I had an empty void all through my early 20s. I didn't know who I was. I was always angry. I never, I never felt really accepted, and I was always alone. And if you have those feelings, that's okay. You will overcome them, but it's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of self-analyzation, and you have to want to change, and you have to want to grow. I know what I need to work on, and fighting with people online and all this bullshit is so unhealthy, and it's something that I'm going to completely stop. I get people that try to get a reaction from me all the time, whether they make a video about me, whether they talk about my relationship, whether they degrade how I look. It's hard to process sometimes and like deal with, and I'm not going to feed into it anymore. I am not going to feed the fire of hate with hate. I just think it has to stop. I don't know what it is. Over the last 3 years, I just feel like I'm on a whole nother level of real happiness. I never let myself experience happiness in my early 20s. Happiness was something that was foreign to me. And I don't know whether it's from being in love or being in a relationship or actually achieving all my goals that I ever wanted when I was little, but I have never been this happy, and I don't want other people and outsiders to affect my happiness.
I'm so happy for him that he's so happy, but people say that happy people don't hurt people. And so it just comes to my mind where I think that Jeffree isn't happy if he's coming for people so much. Like even Jackie a week ago. People come for me on Twitter all the time. There's people on YouTube with loads and loads of followers that come after me. And I don't know if they at me. I don't pay attention. Like I don't pay any attention to it because I genuinely don't care. I think I have a lot of work to do as a person. There's no doubt about that. I think everyone does. But I'm very unbothered by stuff like that usually. And I don't pay attention. But with Jeffree, obviously, it's like an instant fight right now. So it doesn't seem like he's that happy.
I have to stop letting them. So this is my story. This is what I've been wanting to say to you guys for a long time. If you are still listening, thank you for listening. It means something to me that I don't know how to explain. I don't want to sit here and try to, oh, thank you guys so much. No, but thank you just for listening and hearing me out, because you don't have to. You can judge me and say, fuck him forever, and that's okay. You're allowed to have whatever thoughts you want, But if you are listening to this, thank you. I love you guys. Mwah.
That little bit at the end was so shady, like looks away at the camera like, I got away with it. The thing that I think everyone is thinking is that actions will speak louder than words, no matter what's happened. It's all good to give an apology, but especially when some of the things don't necessarily add up and you don't necessarily take ownership of everything that you've done because you blame it on other people and say that you were just reacting. And I do think that he's done a very heartfelt apology. I don't feel like the things that he's spoken about in the apology necessarily match reality in terms of his behaviour. I think he often initiates things that don't exist. He talks about pouring fuel on the fire, but I think he also lights the match, personally. And that's my perspective, but ultimately we will see what happens. No one talks about Jeffree for random no reasons. He's usually done something. He's usually attacked someone, attacked a customer, had something go horrifically wrong with his cosmetics and not addressed it or helped out the customer, or there's been some sort of scandal. And so ultimately I think it's really just going to be a case of if anything happens, you know? How long do you think Jeffree will stay out of trouble for? Do you think this is a real sincere apology, or do you think this is a very quick way to try and diffuse the fact that Tati is getting attacked for collabing with him a lot? Of course, I would really love to know your thoughts down below. If you've watched it this much through the video, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please leave me a thumbs up as always. And yeah, ultimately, I guess, I mean, the thing is, Jeffree's done a lot of horrible things to me, both on social media and off social media, trying to get me banned from places, trying to get me banned from working with particular people, and I know he's done it to other people as well. He's done some really vicious things to a lot of people, publicly and privately, blocking people from working with certain brands, and just a lot of, there's just so many noisy things. It's not like he goes about his life and just randomly reacts. To me, there's a lot of malicious intent, and a lot of people know that, and that's why I think he has quite a high turnover of friends. He's friends with Nikki, he's not friends with Nikki, he's friends with another person, he's not friends with that person. He's friends with Laura Lee, and then he's friends with Tati, and it's like, because I think things happen quite quickly. And I don't see him as a victim in the situation at all. I think he did a very good job to paint himself that way, but that's personally not how I am seeing it. If you're wondering, for me to have my issues sorted with Jeffree in honesty, it would be an apology. I would want an apology from him to me. It doesn't have to be public, but I would want a phone call, whether it's FaceTime or audio, and I'd want him to apologise for putting 8+ copyright strikes on my channel and all the things that he's done privately. That's just my thoughts. And in return, I would apologise for making a nasty comment in my first ever video. Even though I've apologised for it before, I would still apologise. Does that mean I would then support him? Absolutely not. Because from my perspective, he has consistently shown the same character with the racism, with the attacking, and with the bullying. Like the active bullying, not responding to someone coming for him, but the bullying. And that's something that I'm so against. That's something I don't agree with, and it's something that I'll never agree with. So, no. That would not mean that we would be cool and we would be cordial. There would just be nothing. But it would mean there'd be no beef. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Because even if Jeffree's pulled himself to do this video, most people thought he would be too petty to do anything like this, and he still somehow managed to do it. I don't know what his intentions were. I don't know the reason behind him making this video. And I don't think he has any desire to really fix any of the problems that he's started with anyone, really. I think this is really just trying to diffuse the public that come for him over his behaviour. There's just been so many things happen. It's a really stressful situation. It's a really stressful topic. I to be honest, I try and keep away from Jeffree topics now. It's really frustrating that he gets himself into so much controversy. I even grouped the Tati video with the Jackie video because I didn't want to have 2 Jeffree videos on my channel. I was like, do I really have to? But it was so, when there's so many of you asking me to cover something, I want to give you the videos that you want to watch. And if you want me to talk about Jeffree attacking someone, then I guess, you know, I kind of want to talk about it. Even if I know it's one of those like, oh, topics. This has been a long video. Please let me know what you think down below. I hope you're having a really good day so far. And I think Jeffree touched upon some really good points in this video. His intentions behind them, I personally don't trust. But I think the points he talked about, when you're younger and you can feel angry and you can do things to lash out, I think are very good points. And I think if you are in a point in your life where you feel like everyone around you is coming for you and the way that you can get through it is retaliating, just know that things do always get better. You get older, you get stronger, you get wiser, and you make better decisions for yourself. And self-realization is a very beautiful thing. I try and learn more about myself every day, and I think it's a really powerful thing to always try and do. I am by no means a perfect person. But, you know, I think as long as you have a drive to improve, I think that's the most important thing, above everything. That is it for today's video. I hope you like it, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.